Banned book exposes 3 human types. Which one are you? Catholic mystery. Have you ever questioned the mainstream narratives about human origins and our inherent potential? What if the stories we've been told are just a fragment of a much larger concealed truth? In exploring ancient texts, forbidden doctrines, and esoteric traditions, we uncover a provocative perspective. Humanity is not a uniform creation, but a tapestry of diverse beings with distinct origins. Beings of light, earthbound humans, and the Fireborn. This suppressed knowledge, often referred to as the Neogenian Doctrine, suggests that our true nature has been intentionally hidden by those seeking control. The Demiurge, a lesser entity in Gnostic teachings, is said to have crafted the physical world as a cage, keeping us distracted and disconnected from our divine essence. With the help of archons, this illusion is maintained, preventing us from realizing our full potential. But ancient mystics and philosophers have left clues throughout history, urging us to remember who we are. By delving into these hidden teachings, we challenge the limitations imposed upon us and open the door to reclaiming our true power. Join us on this journey as we question reality, embrace our unique origins, and consider what society could become if we all awakened to these profound truths. Drop the comment, tell your opinions about which type of human you think you are. Don't forget like, share video, and subscribe our channel so that you don't miss out any new video. The first type, a being of light. They desire followers, not individuals who believe they are made of the same essence as the Creator. Think about what that means. If you are a being of light, you're not just dust or a creation to be shaped and controlled. You are something more, something divine, and the need for permission, validation, or redemption becomes entirely irrelevant. This is what these texts suggest, that the original human was limitless, free, and in direct communion with the divine, a self-sovereign entity. This perspective changes everything. Perhaps we've never heard about these beings of light because the concept is too powerful. If you knew, if everyone knew, it would completely overturn the power structures and control systems that have been in place for thousands of years. In the Genesis doctrine, this idea is subtly woven into the narrative. The book of Genesis states that humans are created in the image of God. Genesis 1:26-27. This phrase implies that humans share a fundamental essence with the Creator, suggesting that we are more than mere physical beings. We possess a divine spark. Some interpretations go further, proposing that the first humans lived in a state of direct communion with God, unburdened by limitations or external control. The Garden of Eden represents this original state of harmony and freedom, where Adam and Eve existed without the need for permission or redemption, until the fall introduced separation from the divine. Understanding ourselves as beings of light, as reflected in Genesis, challenges established doctrines that promote dependency and obedience. It suggests that we have an inherent capacity for direct connection with the divine, without intermediaries. Recognizing this could indeed disrupt long-standing power structures by empowering individuals to realize their own divinity. Perhaps this is why such interpretations are not widely taught. They have the potential to fundamentally reshape our understanding of humanity and challenge systems of control that have persisted for millennia. The second type, Earthbound type. Now get ready for the human type you're all too familiar with, but probably never saw in this light. In the pages of the mainstream Genesis, humanity is crafted from dirt and dust, molded by the hands of a creator. But dive deeper, and especially into some of the banned texts, and it's a whole different story. These earthbound humans, let's call them the second type, aren't so much created as they are constructed, and by a being that's far from the benevolent creator we've all been taught to believe in. This is where the concept of the demiurge comes in, a term you are not going to find in your typical Sunday school. According to Gnostic writings, the demiurge is the architect of the material world. He's depicted as a kind of lesser, jealous god who trapped the divine spark within layers of earth, flesh, and bone. And why? To ensure a level of control. These earthbound humans are fundamentally different from the beings of light. They're bound by physical form, by limitations, by the ticking clock of mortality, all constructs designed to keep them grounded, confined, and, in many ways, obedient. Here's the uncomfortable part. In these texts, this creation was less about crafting life and more about manufacturing something functional, a worker, an entity that could be controlled, manipulated, and harnessed. This type of human is portrayed almost like a prototype, as if we're dealing with a blueprint for a biological machine, something that could be easily directed, distracted, and contained. And look at the characteristics of this earthbound type. They experience fear, hunger, and desire. These traits, seen as part of the human condition, aren't accidental. They were designed features, tools meant to keep this type of human constantly searching, constantly needing, and forever tied to a world ruled by the physical. Ever wonder why humans are seemingly hardwired to follow authority or get lost in endless cycles of routine and survival? According to these hidden texts, it's no accident. It's embedded into the very foundation of this type of human. Now there's another layer to this that's even more unsettling. The Gnostics claim that this second type of human was not only designed to be bound by the material, but was also cut off from true knowledge or gnosis. This was a strategic move by the Demiurge, who apparently didn't want these beings getting ideas about their true nature. So the earthbound humans were deliberately engineered to rely on intermediaries, on systems, on leaders, on religions. They were kept just in the dark enough to accept things as they were told, never realizing they were wired for a life of obedience. The Gnostics weren't just saying humanity was limited. They were saying it was intentionally limited. Picture it. A population engineered to be docile, to accept what's in front of them without questioning too much, and to trust in systems that promise salvation or order, but never actually deliver it. Think about the implications of that. This isn't just a biological design, it's a blueprint for societal control, a plan that's been running for millennia. This earthbound human type is precisely what the mainstream narratives push. It's the story we've all grown up with, the one where humans are weak, need saving, and exist to serve some higher, often mysterious purpose. The third type, humans born of fire. But if this story was designed to keep us from finding out the truth about our origins, then what's the real reason behind it? All right, we've covered the luminous beings and the earthbound ones, but now let's talk about a whole different type, humans born of fire. These fireborn humans aren't just spiritual or material, they're something entirely unique. You see, ancient Persian texts and some of the lesser-known apocryphal writings refer to a third type of human, one that holds an unpredictable, unstoppable force within. And this force is described as fire, not a literal blaze, but an intense drive, an uncontainable energy that can both create and destroy. This type doesn't fit neatly into any box. Unlike beings of light, they're not purely divine, and unlike earthbound humans, they're not entirely tied to the material world. Instead, they carry an explosive mix of both worlds, walking the line between enlightenment and chaos. These are the humans that rebel, that push boundaries, that can't sit still or be satisfied with status quo answers. They're the visionaries, the revolutionaries, the ones who change everything. Texts describe them as beings with a divine wrath and creative fury, entities who don't just accept reality, they reshape it. It's like they've got this internal spark that drives them to disrupt, to dismantle, and to demand answers to the questions most people would rather ignore. Now here's where it gets really intense. Some of these ancient writings suggest that these fireborn humans were seen as dangerous, not to the universe or to creation, but to the ones in power. Because if you've got a group of humans who are both fearless and insatiably curious, they're a threat to any form of control. And here's the thing. These texts don't just describe these people as fighters, they describe them as creators, people capable of harnessing this spirit to manifest new ideas, societies, or even new spiritual paths. This isn't just metaphorical language. Some ancient sources imply that these fireborn are literally more connected to the divine than other types, giving them an almost supernatural capacity to bring change. The Demiurge and those who control the earthly realm fear the Fireborn because they can't be suppressed, silenced, or confined. So let's dig a little deeper into the personality of a Fireborn. These people don't settle. They're not interested in conformity. They've got this inner drive that's constantly pushing them to break free from whatever system they're put in. Throughout history, we see echoes of this. Figures who seemed like they were playing by different rules, who pushed society forward at any cost. They couldn't be controlled no matter how hard the system tried. Some might call them troublemakers or radicals, but maybe they're something else entirely. Maybe they're the remnants of this ancient Fireborn lineage, carrying that same energy of creation and destruction forward in a world designed to restrain them. We've all heard the line, "History is written by the victors." But when it comes to ancient texts, especially the ones dealing with human origins and our purpose, it seems like history was rewritten, buried, or straight up erased by those with something to lose. This brings us to what I'm calling the Neogenian Doctrine, an ancient view about humanity that's been systematically erased. It's an ideology that divides humanity into these three distinct types: light, earth, and fire. But here's the thing. Knowledge of this doctrine posed a serious threat to religious and political institutions alike, and it wasn't just swept under the rug. It was actively hunted down and destroyed. Why? Because the Neogenian Doctrine paints a picture of humanity that's not simple, not uniform, and definitely not docile. The idea that people are born with inherent qualities, that some carry an innate divine essence while others are engineered for control, would upend everything. It dismantles the idea that every person should conform to the same mold, follow the same path, or adhere to the same set of beliefs. Instead, the doctrine suggests a world where humanity is more complex, with different people holding different kinds of potential, some purely spiritual, some earthly, and others just burning with transformative power. This type of message doesn't fit with systems built on control and conformity. Let's look at how these ancient powers operated. Texts that spoke of Neogenian ideas, that described humanity as multidimensional, were considered heretical and eradicated with purpose. The Nag Hammadi Library, the Dead Sea Scrolls, even these texts barely escaped destruction, and they're just the fragments that survived. Think about that. How much have we actually lost? How many ideas were purged because they didn't fit the narrative of a uniform, obedient humanity? And it wasn't just religious authorities who wanted these ideas gone. Political rulers, too, understood the dangers of a population aware of its own complexity. A society aware that its members are unique, with distinct spiritual and mental capabilities, is one that questions the demands, that pushes back. A society aware of its diverse origins doesn't accept control easily, and the Neogenian Doctrine makes it clear. Some humans were always destined to question, to dig deeper, to resist. This doctrine suggests that control was never meant to be universal. It only exists because certain groups chose to deny people knowledge of their own origins. By destroying these texts, those in power weren't just trying to erase a few ideas, they were trying to erase entire ways of being. They wanted to mold everyone into a predictable, manageable form. These erased doctrines tell us that humanity was once more connected, more dynamic, and much more aware. The push to destroy these records wasn't just about religion or heresy. It was about power. Power over how we see ourselves, our purpose, and our potential. Here's a concept that shakes the foundation of what we think we know about our world: the demiurge. This isn't some benevolent creator looking out for humanity. In ancient Gnostic teachings, the demiurge is the entity who designed the physical realm, but not out of love or wisdom. This figure is more like a jailer, building a material prison intended to keep us trapped, distracted, and completely oblivious to the greater truths. The demiurge reshape what we think about a benevolent creator. Here's a concept that shakes the foundation of what we think we know about our world: the demiurge. This isn't some benevolent creator looking out for humanity. In ancient Gnostic teachings, the demiurge is the entity who designed the physical realm, but not out of love or wisdom. This figure is more like a jailer, building a material prison intended to keep us trapped, distracted, and completely oblivious to the greater truths beyond. Now, according to these banned texts, this whole world, the rules, the suffering, the endless cycles of fear and desire, it's all the Demiurge's masterpiece. He didn't create it to empower us. He created it to hold us down. And he's not alone. The Demiurge supposedly has a set of helpers or archons, entities whose sole purpose is to keep humanity in line, to stop us from looking beyond the physical and discovering the truth about our origins and our potential. Think about how this plays out in the daily grind of life. Everything around us, the systems, the distractions, even the limitations we're taught to accept, serves to reinforce the idea that we're nothing more than physical beings. Our time is spent on survival, on acquisition, on conflict, while the deeper aspects of our existence, our spiritual dimensions, are left unexplored. This, according to the Gnostic view, is exactly how the Demiurge wants it. Now let's talk about how he achieves this. The Demiurge's power is rooted in illusion, in creating a world so engaging, so demanding of our attention, that we rarely stop to question it. This world of illusion is a web, a carefully crafted system designed to keep us looking outward instead of inward. And this is where the role of the archons becomes crucial. They're like cosmic gatekeepers, entities that control not just physical constraints, but also mental and spiritual limitations. These archons feed off our ignorance, our confusion, even our suffering, keeping us locked in a repetitive cycle of unfulfilled desires and unanswered questions. What's even more disturbing is that the Demiurge isn't just interested in controlling the material world. Some sources suggest that he also has a hand in shaping our thoughts, our beliefs, and our perceptions. The systems of power, the institutions that claim to guide us, in this view, they're not random. They're structures built to reinforce the Demiurge's agenda, designed to make sure we never realize that this world is ultimately a construct. This isn't some natural order. It's a cage, and it goes deeper. The illusion isn't just in the systems around us, but in the very idea that there's nothing beyond this physical existence. The Demiurge wants humanity convinced that our bodies, our lives, our struggles, that's all there is. And by keeping us in the dark, he ensures that we remain dependent, limited, and endlessly seeking fulfillment in a world that was never designed to provide it. So if the Demiurge's goal is control through illusion, then uncovering this truth would be the first step to breaking free. It raises the question, what would happen if humanity woke up to the fact that everything we're experiencing, everything we're told to value, might just be part of a massive cosmic con? We're talking about a game rigged from the start, with humanity kept in check by a creator who isn't benevolent but self-serving, and a world built to keep us locked in the dark. The ancient theories about the human nature, ancient mystics and esoteric traditions, the sources that mainstream religion often tries to sideline, have been whispering the same idea for thousands of years. That humanity isn't a single entity, but a spectrum of beings with different origins, different essences. And they didn't just make this up. From ancient Egypt to Persia, from early Hindu texts to the mystic writings of the Kabbalah, we find a recurring idea. Humanity's essence isn't one size fits all. Instead, we're a blend of beings of light, earth, and fire, each with its own unique role and purpose. Let's start with the mystics of ancient Persia, who recognized this tripartite human nature. They spoke of fire souls who held the raw, uncontainable energy of creation and destruction. In their view, these beings weren't rebels without a cause. They were here to challenge the status quo, to bring change in a world that constantly resists it. Fast forward to Hindu teachings, and you'll find references to gunas, the qualities of light, inertia, and fire that describe the forces driving each individual. Sound familiar? Because this idea of humanity being composed of distinct spiritual types wasn't just philosophical musing. It was seen as practical, a way to understand the world and to know who you really are. And the Kabbalah takes things even further. In Jewish mysticism, Humans are described as vessels that hold divine sparks, fragments of a higher realm scattered through creation. But not every vessel is the same. Some are naturally drawn to enlightenment, to divine light, while others are tightly bound to earthly desires or fiery drives. These aren't metaphors. They're descriptions of real, different forces that supposedly live within people. It's as if these traditions were trying to pass down a warning. Understand your origins because it's the only way to break out of the mold forced on you. The question is, why would such a concept be treated as forbidden knowledge? Why would recognizing your own essence be considered so dangerous that it had to be hidden, banned, or even destroyed? Because if humanity could embrace the idea that we're made of distinct spiritual energies, it would end the one-size-fits-all control model that religion and politics depend on. A light soul seeks knowledge and spirituality, the mysteries of existence. An earthbound soul values stability, routine, the known. A fire soul, they live to shake things up, to ignite new ideas, new movements, new perspectives. Now imagine if these souls knew who they were. What do you think would happen? This understanding, passed down by mystics and hidden away in secret teachings, threatened every system designed to treat humanity as a single, controllable entity. The ancient Egyptian priests, the Sufi mystics, the alchemists of medieval Europe, they weren't just hiding their scrolls and symbols for the fun of it. They knew they were protecting knowledge that, if made public, would destabilize entire structures built on the idea of a unified, predictable humanity. The very existence of these teachings in esoteric tradition suggests that those who understood the real nature of humanity were forced underground. They became the secret keepers, the ones who couldn't speak openly without facing severe consequences. And if their knowledge is as real as these ancient writings claim, then what they were hiding isn't just about spiritual insight. It's a blueprint for understanding human potential, a guide to realizing who you are beyond the limits set by society. This knowledge didn't disappear. It survived, hidden in symbols, in coded writings, in whispered teachings passed down for those willing to listen. And if the mystics were right, then this lost understanding could be the key to breaking out of a cycle humanity's been trapped in for thousands of years. The system might have buried the truth, but it never quite killed it. So here we are. We've covered light beings, earthbound humans, and fireborn rebels, and how these ancient texts lay out a blueprint for understanding humanity's true hidden potential. But let's face it, the fact that this knowledge was banned, buried, and demonized tells us something crucial. It matters. It mattered enough to hide. It mattered enough to destroy. And it matters enough today to reconsider everything we think we know about ourselves. Here's the deal. If we accept the idea that humanity is made up of different types with different origins, we're not just looking at an ancient theory, we're looking at a new way of seeing ourselves. Think about it. Each of these types represents a potential, a drive, a calling. Some of us are drawn to knowledge, to spirituality, to the mysteries of existence. Others find purpose in grounding, in the tangible, in the here and now. And then there are those who feel an urge to change the world, to create, or even disrupt. These aren't random personality quirks. They're deep, ancient archetypes hidden in our DNA, our very soul. If we recognize and embrace this truth, it means we're breaking out of the mold imposed on us. We are freeing ourselves from a system designed to confine, control, and restrict. And let's be real. That's exactly what a lot of these banned texts were warning us about. They weren't just teaching us metaphysical ideas. They were shouting at us, trying to get us to remember who we are and what we're capable of. But somewhere along the line, we stopped listening. The potential of these three origins isn't just to explain our past, it's to unleash our future. Because if humanity understood itself on this level, if we knew which ancient origin we were connected to, if we respected those differences, embraced them, and worked with them instead of trying to shove everyone into the same box, can you even imagine the kind of society that would create? A world where people are living authentically, not because they're following a script, but because they're tuned into who they truly are. That's the world these hidden teachings dared us to imagine. A world where humanity isn't living in ignorance or fear, but in full awareness of its origins and purpose. And honestly, that's why these ideas were shut down, silenced, and deemed dangerous. Because a humanity that knows itself, that recognizes its own power, doesn't need the chains of control, doesn't bend to imposed limitations, and definitely doesn't settle for a life of quiet submission. Now, I know this was a lot to unpack, and maybe some of it sounds far-fetched. But if nothing else, these ancient texts and forbidden ideas remind us of a profound truth. We are more complex, more varied, and more powerful than we've been led to believe. And maybe, just maybe, rediscovering these pieces of ourselves is the first step toward reclaiming our true potential. In conclusion, the exploration of ancient texts and suppressed doctrines reveals a compelling narrative that challenges our conventional understanding of human existence. The notion that humanity comprises distinct types, beings of light, earthbound humans, and the Fireborn, suggests that our potential is far more diverse and profound than commonly acknowledged. This tripartite view emphasizes that each individual carries unique qualities and drives, whether it be the pursuit of enlightenment, the comfort of the tangible, or the fervor to instigate transformative change. The suppression of the Neogenian Doctrine and similar teachings indicates a historical effort to maintain control by promoting uniformity and conformity. By erasing these alternative perspectives, institutions may have sought to limit our awareness of inherent potentials that could disrupt established power structures. The concept of the demiurge and the archons in Gnostic teachings further underscores this idea, portraying a reality designed to confine and distract us from recognizing our true essence. Rediscovering and embracing these hidden aspects of ourselves could be a pivotal step toward unlocking our collective and individual capabilities. If we begin to see ourselves not as a monolithic entity, but as a rich tapestry of varied origins and purposes, we open the door to a society that values authenticity and self-awareness. Such a shift could dismantle the limitations imposed by outdated narratives, allowing us to forge a future where our diverse strengths are acknowledged and harnessed for the greater good. Ultimately, this journey invites us to question long-held beliefs and to seek deeper understanding. It challenges us to look beyond the surface of accepted truths and to explore the profound mysteries that lie within our own being. By doing so, we not only reclaim our hidden potential, but also contribute to the creation of a more enlightened and empowered humanity. Thank you for accompanying me on this journey. If this discussion has ignited something within you, prompted new questions, or shifted your perspective, let's keep the dialogue alive. Share your thoughts in the comments, contribute your insights, and together we'll explore even further. Until next time, stay inquisitive, remain critical, and remember, the truth might be concealed, but it's never lost. Thanks for watching.